Now it's recording.
Good evening, everyone. This is a call to order. Before we begin, will the staff liaison confirm that they are recording this meeting?
Yes, we are recording.
Great. My name is Carla Weaver. I am the chair of the Grand Prairie Oak Hollow Sheffield Village PID board. Welcome to the board meeting of August 18th, 2020. In accordance with the Texas Governor's March 13th, 2020 disaster declaration and subsequent suspension of certain Texas Open Meetings Act provisions, the meeting of the commission is hereby called to order via teleconference at 6:36. As this meeting is being held through teleconference, each speaker should announce their name before speaking each time they speak. The meeting follows a printed agenda that is available online and was posted according to the Open Meetings Act. We will begin with a roll call. Could each member of the board please say here when your name is called? Joseph?
Here.
Raymond?
Here.
Raul?
Here.
Naomi? Corey? All right, that's all board meeting or members. Let the record reflect that 4 members are present and this satisfies the quorum requirement. In an effort to minimize disruptions, the following meeting guidelines will apply. Board members, staff, and citizens, please keep your phone on mute at all times unless you're speaking. If a board member wishes to speak, please state your name. Once you're called on, clearly state your name every time at the beginning. After the board finishes their discussion, I will ask for citizen comments. If a citizen wishes to speak, please state your name at this time and I will call on you. Each member of the public will have 5 minutes to speak with additional time allowed at my discretion. Once I call on you, clearly state your name every time at the beginning. For each vote, I will call on each commission member and that person will state their vote. As an extended pause during voting will be provided to ensure all votes are recorded accurately. This meeting is being recorded and will be later posted to the Grand Prairie website. All right, so let's start with agenda item number 1. Let's see. Number 1 is a call to order. I believe we just completed that task. Let's see. Item number 2, the PID management report and projects and contracts. So with that, I will turn it over to Patty to walk us through the various items that are listed here and provide us the latest updates on those areas. The first one being landscape improvements and or maintenance.
Patty Ledbetter. Regarding the landscape improvements, I've talked to Brightview. They are working diligently to continue to upgrade the flower beds, making sure that the flowers are maintained properly and the edging. Also on Brightview, we got a notification that one of the trees were down off of, let's see, Great Southwest in Claremont. I received a quote for that of $1,875 to remove the tree, haul it off, and grind the stump. I'll send that over to the board for approval after this meeting. I can also get other quotes for that as well if you would like for me to. As far as the wall improvements, I don't have anything on that. Yes.
Can we pause on that one really quick?
Sure.
Are there
most definitely.
Any questions? Yeah, we'll kind of go through them and do questions and then let you keep going. Are there any questions from the board or comments on the landscaping, maintenance, and Patty's comment about the tree? Any items from board members?
This is Joe Marino. I do have a concern about the maintenance of the landscape. I don't feel that we're getting the bang for our buck that we're supposed to be paying, that we are paying for. I see them out there all the time. 9 times out of 10, they're sitting under a shade tree. Now, this is what I'm going to assume is going to be the supervision out there. They'll sit under that shade tree for 2 to 3 hours. I don't see anything that's gotten any better. In fact, I actually see it as worse. The tree, I understand that has to be taken care of, but I think $1,800 is a little much to take down a tree. I'd like to see other bids on that, preferably, just because I don't see it. Can we do that, please?
Most definitely.
Okay.
And I made a note as well to talk to them about the 2 to 3 hours underneath the tree. Just sitting there?
Yep, just sitting there. I'll send the pictures over also.
Okay. Do you want me to go ahead and start getting? Would you like for me to go ahead and start getting more bids for a new contractor?
Me personally, yes, I would.
Let's open it up to other members. Raymond or Raul, would y'all like to add to this discussion?
Yes, this is Raymond. I just want to say I don't mind opening up for a new contractor bid, but I would also like another bid for the removal of the tree, because it is a safety hazard. Someone could be riding a bike or running something, hurt themselves. We might want to be a little bit expedient on getting another bid for that and removing that. And as far as the flowers and what they have out there, it seems like it's kind of unbalanced. If you look at some parts of the streets on the corners, I guess they've bloomed a little bit better than other areas. So you have bigger plants versus other sides where they seem kind of scarce. So I don't know if that's a watering issue, or maybe the water isn't exactly hitting the flowers and the plants. And I think that's been an ongoing issue ever since Brightview came on board. And we discussed about putting those little green guard things and whatnot to kind of keep the water flow from spilling over into the street. So I really think that that's something that needs to be addressed.
What kind of guards or what location?
I would say every one. Well, okay. I would say that every intersection that you drive through, if you look at the flowers, some of them are bigger than others. And when I say big, I'm saying that nicely and loosely, because they should be, the flowers that were planted, they should be a lot bigger. Of course, we're in July and there's triple digits, but they've been pretty small for quite some time now.
Okay, that's going to depend also on how much shade or how much sun they have as well. So depending on the way the sun's coming in and what's more shaded area and another area isn't shaded, that could have some discrepancy there as well. But I will definitely check on that as well.
Patty, I've got a question about that, because earlier on in the spring, we had what I'm going to call cabbage patches out there. Then all of a sudden, those were gone. I thought the intention was for this summer we were going to be using more drought-tolerant plants. What happened to that?
Honestly, I don't know. I can talk to Brightview and find out. I don't believe you ever really decided on what you wanted, so they went ahead and went with what they had available to put out. I don't think there was ever a decision through the board as to what plants you wanted.
Yeah, this is Raul. I think COVID hit, but whenever that we were discussing that, I don't think we ever finalized anything. And sorry, again, my concern is only with the tree removal and how quickly we can get a bid on that, because I agree with Raymond that we should probably look at getting that removed as soon as possible.
Okay, this is Patty again. I will get a bid again tomorrow, since I do have a good picture of it. Hopefully I can get a good bid tomorrow and get that out to you, hopefully tomorrow or early, so this is Tuesday, early Thursday morning. I should be able to have at least one more bid for you.
This is Joe Marino again. This is going to be addressed to Lee. Lee, is there any way the city can act on this any quicker for us on removal of that tree? At least the branches and stuff like that?
No, no, it would be up to the PID to hire a contractor to do that.
Okay.
This is Carla. Lee, if we received an updated bid, do we need to call another board meeting to vote on it, or do we need to take an action that allows one, how can we phrase it to not have to have a whole nother meeting just for that one item? If it's less and more reasonable than the one presented tonight, we're able to go with that, or what are our options there you'd suggest?
Okay, this is Lee. Yes, you could tell Patty that you authorize her to go ahead and do it if she gets a bid that's, you know, within a certain price range.
Okay.
More board members, what are your thoughts on that? Hi,
It's been a long time since I've had a tree cut down. This is Joseph again. It's been a long time since I've had a tree cut down, but you know, I would say no more than $1,200. I think we've constantly been getting flambéed here by Brightview. I think they take advantage of the situation, and I think they need to come to an understanding with us that we have higher expectations, and that includes price-wise. You know, that's what my recommendation would be, is no more than $1,200.
Other board members?
This is Raymond. I agree with Joe. I think it should be somewhere between, you know, 1,200, somewhere around that ballpark. I had a tree stump actually removed from my front yard when I moved to my house, and I was quoted somewhere near there. This was like maybe 3 years ago. I went ahead and did it myself. But of course, the city came and removed the stump. I left it in the front. So they have to dispose of it and take branches and whatnot. And it's a huge tree. So I think if we can get another bid and we can get kind of a ballpark figure there, maybe from another company, maybe a second one for Brightview also.
Naomi, did I hear that you joined us?
Yes, I joined. Thanks. I think that if the bid is at 1,200 or lower, move forward. If it's greater than 1,200, seek other bids, call new meeting. Thank you.
Okay,
I will do that.
Oh, and this is Lee. When you get the bid, just email that to me and I'll prepare a contract.
Okay. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
all right. Any other discussion on landscaping improvements, maintenance, and flower beds from the board? If not, I will speak now for ever hold, and then I will open it up to public comment.
Once again, I want to elaborate on the maintenance part of our agreement with Brightview. I don't think that we're getting what we're paying for again. I think we need to move forward in looking for another vendor for our landscape. I understand, you know, COVID made a lot of changes in the way we were doing business these days. But to me, I think we still should be getting, you know, if they're not going to give us what we should be getting, then give us a reduction in price. And thus far, all I've seen is nothing that I've been impressed with.
Do other board members concur to get additional bids for landscape companies? Okay.
This is Raul. I concur with that. We can hurt.
Yeah, I do too. This is Naomi. There's a $1,200 mark. If we do not get that, I think we should seek other bids, because if we don't get that price point set, then Brightview I think is taking a little bit of advantage. So we need to stand our ground on this one. Thank you.
Okay.
This is Raymond. I also agree with that, and the reason I say that is because, you know, it's very beautiful in Great Southwest, but sometimes it feels like it's just a business park where the only things that are green are the bushes, and it seems like we can't have any roses or cabbages or succulents that seem to grow and to retain that water. So I think that's definitely been an issue. So I also agree with that.
Okay, this is Carla. Patty, it seems like there's consensus among the board. I think just to reiterate, The current bid for the tree removal from Brightview is $18.75. The board would like to get additional bids, and if a bid comes in that's approximately around the 1,200 mark, we'd like you to move forward with that. If it doesn't, we'll come back and look at other options. And then the majority of the board is interested in bids for additional landscaping companies to maintain within our community. And we have a certain budget for Brightview. We're going to talk about the budget tonight. I'd throw out there that I think we're open to options with other companies of maybe sort of low, medium, high maintenance packages and what they would include in those if we need to add a little bit more money. I don't know if it's a situation of money or if it was the company itself, but we have additional resources that perhaps we could investigate what those would get us with additional companies. So if hopefully all that. Yes.
I agree with you, Carla, because we actually went up several $1,000s going with Brightview after they made their presentation to us and explained to us what we would get, and it's been a failure as far as I'm concerned to this point. So I do think we need to, if we need to go up on the budget for, I would love to go up on the budget for landscape if we're going to get what we're paying for. Right. The presentations that they gave were fantastic, but bottom line is they did not produce anything that we really wanted. We're now with this COVID, we're as close now on a phone that we can have a meeting to where it's not so difficult to meet at a public place or anything like that. So I think I would like to see more money added to it eventually. I think right now we stick with what we got because Lee, what was that? I think, are we at $55,000 currently on landscape per year?
Lee, your excuse me, your mowing contract is $58,000.
Okay. See, and that's the mowing contract is also inclusive of the landscape, the flowers and all that other stuff, correct?
Let me verify.
Is that okay? Patty, do you know that?
I'm sorry, I just lost you. I had to come back in. Would you please repeat that?
So this is right. It says on here that landscaping is approximately $70,000 if I'm looking at the right.
Yeah, landscaping is $70,000 and mowing is $58,000.
Okay. So,
I think landscaping would be Brightview and mowing is tied to.
So that's a lot of money, and we're definitely not getting our bang for that buck.
Yeah.
This is Lee again.
I have a question.
On that item, landscaping, that would actually be landscape project.
Okay.
So that's not actually maintenance contract is $58,000.
Hi, this is Naomi. I have a quick question. Does the budget carry over to the next budget year?
That's a question to Lee.
Oh, okay. This
Yes,
is Lee.
Lee question.
I don't know if you had a chance to look at the budget that I sent out.
Oh, the budget does carry over. Is Raymond? Sorry.
Any money that's left over is carried forward into the next year. Of course, every year we approve a new budget.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are there any additional, do any board members have any additional questions to ask Patty before we hear from the audience?
This is Lee. You had a question about the mowing contract. Mowing contract does include the 3 color changes per year.
Okay. Patty, Patty, this is Joseph Moreno again. Are we being notified when those color changes are being made?
No, you're not. They do that normally, I believe it's 3 times a year. Spring, summer, and fall, my understanding. Let me go back and look at the contract.
Okay, can we please make that happen so we are notified?
Most definitely.
Hey, this is Raul. Sorry, I was going to say, this is Raul. My question was, do we just pick the colors at the beginning of the year and then they just change them when they do the 3 color changes based on our choices, or do they ask us? Okay.
They sent out colors and choices and everything the last time they were doing the color change, and then COVID hit. We never really got an answer, and so I believe I sent something out after that, and they went ahead and put color out to be able to have something there instead of being bare.
Okay, I remember we picked some colors. Okay.
Yeah, to be fair to Brightview, that was sent out to the entire board. I think Raul sent back 1 or 2 options, and I did as well. And so I think it was sort of a combination of those is what went out. Now, I think Patty's point of some sides of the street are super, super sunny and some sides are super shady. I'm not sure everything that they gave us was the best choice for every location. So it may need to be which are very good for bright spots versus shady spots, and there needs to be maybe some more thought on their part regarding that.
Agreed.
If you want them this
Go, Patty.
The other thing too is when they're deciding, I mean, if you want it all to match, then that, some areas, like you said, are going to do better in sunlight, where other areas would do better in the shade. So it can't all be matchy like it is currently.
I think we might be okay.
I agree with that, Patty, and I think that it's their responsibility to inform us and to let us know which plants would be better in which areas and locations. I believe the excuse last summer was the weather and the rain, and that's why everything didn't bloom as it should. And now this year it's because of the COVID. I'm wondering what next year is going to be. So I think that's why we're paying them, for them to give us their expertise opinion and let us know, like, hey, maybe we should plant succulents here, maybe flowers there, maybe cacti. And I think that's kind of what we're asking for, either with Brightview or with the new contractor.
Most definitely. I can get that information, and like I said, I'll get 3 bids. Hopefully, maybe we can find someone else that will suit your needs better than Brightview.
Thank you, Ms. Patty.
We need to find out who does high hawks.
Brightview.
Oh, then when you just copy their flowers, they're usually pretty nice.
But it's just the area. That's one of the pluses, because they did do high hawk. I mean, I don't know. The soil could be different. Honestly, I just don't know. I know the last time I spoke to them and we were talking about the plants being so small, they informed me that they buy them small as a wholesaler, and it just takes time for them to grow into maturity. I'm not a plant person, so honestly, I don't know. I'm going by what they're telling me. So,
so this is Carla.
So high hawk have a better irrigation system. Like that's kind of, I guess, the information we want to know, because they do have a very beautiful setup over there. So do they have better irrigation? Or are they paying double than we are? Like, maybe if we could have a little bit more information, what's
okay.
The solution?
I can ask them what the difference is, and hopefully they can give me a response at that. And as soon as I get that, I can forward that over to the board.
And this is Lee. Just to add to that, I'm looking at High Hawk's mowing contract. It's actually $85,000, although they do mow a much larger area.
So
thank you, Lee.
This is Carla, as part of the bid for other companies plus plus Brightview, if they want to bid to continue to be our landscape servicer, I think with our current budget, I think if we added $30,000, what would we get for that? I used to review landscaping plans as part of roadway projects, and there's specific calibers that you pay for related to planting shrubbery and trees, and you pay a lot more for hardier plants that are already grown to a larger size to go into certain areas. So we probably want to know how much they're budgeting for the color, and then make sure that what's purchased, because what you don't want to happen is you think that you're getting a certain size caliber bush, and then they're spending less than that, and the rest of it's just being absorbed into a budget. So knowing what the expectation is of what they should be spending on the color, and then matching that up, is that the size plant or the look that we get? You know, there's probably, we could ask a few more questions with whoever our landscaping company is, just to kind of cross-check that.
Okay. I had actually, sorry, this is Patty. I actually requested that they try to be on this meeting, but they were tied up and were not able to meet it. Okay. Maybe the next time as well.
They told us that the last time too. Tell them their next meeting is going to be mandatory.
Well, I think the last meeting they were coming to, and then it got canceled. So.
Yeah. No, there was a meeting before that also where they were supposed to show up and they never did.
Oh, okay.
Are there any other questions of Patty or Lee? We open it up to the audience for questions. All right. If citizens would like to speak on this matter, please state your name now and tell us your question.
Earl Horton.
Go ahead, Mr. Earl.
Yes, I think you just hit on the very point when I brought this up at the beginning of the year, when I saw how puny the flowers look, that you have to think about the location, the sunlight, and then you want to bump it up and get a more mature plant in there that'll be more established, and it will thrive better because it has already got the nutrients and thing it needs. Coming in with the smaller ones, if they're in the shaded area where they're not getting as much sun on them, they may do okay there. You have to identify those spots. I do that in my yard and find out what grows well and what doesn't grow well, and then I don't put that in next year. And then again, one of the other options is that not giving them the information early enough so they can get them out on time. Timing is a big factor of getting those plants in the ground. So a lot of that's been. Now, I would like to see in that area coming on the Greater Southwest, especially coming in, a little bit more beef up inside of those beds. Those beds are really bare when you start to go further up in the neighborhood. And looking at some ground cover to go around that bare section that's around those trees, been that way for years.
Okay. Are there any other citizen questions or comments? Okay. Then we will move on to our next item, wall, fence, monument improvements, and or maintenance. Patty, are there any updates on this item? Patty?
I guess you got kicked off.
Are you there?
No, I'm sorry. I do not have any updates. I apologize for that. My mute was on.
Okay. No problem.
Still learning this. As far as the walls, all of them been painted. I haven't seen any issues with the walls. I've sent a couple of letters out to homeowners on that area to keep their trees and their vines away from the walls, so we won't have any damage with that. I haven't. I don't have anything else other than that. Have any of you seen any issues with the walls that need to be addressed?
This is Raul.
Go ahead, Raul.
Yeah, there's. I just had a question. This might have been the wall issue that a neighbor was reporting, but there's a part of the fence on the east side of Great Southwest that has the cap that's, I guess, bumped off one of the caps.
Okay, I was not aware of that one.
I'm not sure because I know we were discussing. Yeah, on the east side of Great Southwest, I guess closer to the entrance, the main entrance coming from Barden.
Okay.
I think I noticed that one of the caps is not on there. It's skewed.
Okay, I will get over there and see if I can find that cap and see if I can get that replaced.
Let me see if I can get a picture. Yeah, let me see if I can get a picture, and then I'll send that.
Okay, do you mind getting the address of the house that it's behind as well? That would help them locate it.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
All right, any other questions or comments from the boards regarding the walls? Okay, are there any let's see, are there any citizens that would like to speak on this matter or have any questions? If so, please state your name now. All right, seeing none, we will move on to the next item, D, signage improvements and or maintenance. Patty, are there any updates or items to discuss in this area?
I do not have anything at this time.
All right, are there any board members that have any items, questions, or discussion regarding signage?
This is Raul. I have a quick question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Raul.
Raul, you please go.
Oh, okay. So this is Raul. Sorry. My question was, were we looking at like maybe doing the improved kind of street signs or that type of thing that I think we had brought up at one of the meetings. I don't know if we ever discussed that.
This is Patty. This is Patty. That was brought up. I got quotes for it, and then it just kind of got set aside. I can go back and get more quotes for you if that's what you would like to do. Totally up to you.
Raul, this is Joseph. I think the reason we kind of put a stop on the signage is only certain signs could be replaced because of the city wouldn't allow us to change out like street signs and things like that. And I think that's what everybody was kind of looking towards. So we kind of backed off of that one.
This is Lee. This is Lee.
Sorry, go ahead, Lee.
Are you talking about street signs that are like, say, decorative wrought iron street signs?
I think, this is Raul, sorry. I think what had been brought up, like some of the neighborhoods do just kind of a decorative thing above the street sign, right? Or kind of.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you're interested in the wrought iron type like they have in High Hawk, we can look into that.
This is Carla. I'd be interested. Anything that makes our neighborhood look a little nicer. Right, Patty?
This is Raymond. I agree with Raul and Carla, and I think it would be a great idea to do the decorative iron, and I think it's something we should definitely look into. It's something that's going to last a long time. You don't have to water it for it to look beautiful. So I think that's something worth looking into. Second, as far as signage for the PID itself, I think we need separate PID signs with more color, and we just did a design to Patty. You noticed that I understand the code, messed up a lot of things. I'd be glad to send that back out if you guys want to take a look at that, because I'd like for new PID signs also.
I think that'd be a good idea, Raven. That if you would send that out, so we can. I agree with you guys. I think those signs are really nice. But just remember how costly they can be.
I think at one
point they were $1,800, $1,300 or $1,800 per pole.
Well, at least.
But like Raymond said, it'll last forever. You don't have to water it.
Some informed decisions, and maybe there's a staging plan we could do over time. Kind of part one, and then add two over the next couple of years.
Lee, like in Forum Estates PID, they put the wrought iron ones at the intersections that were along the main roads, but they haven't done the ones that are within the neighborhood. They only did main roads.
Here's the other concern that I have to doing that is I would recommend putting them on a concrete pedestal. I don't know about you guys, but I see a lot of wrecks that they crash into our fence, and look what they do to the fence. Not including what they do to trees and everything like in our center medians. So just keep that in mind when we go to look at this sign. If we do it, I'd like to see them up at least a foot and a half up on a pedestal, on a cement pedestal, if that's possible.
Patty, this is
Carla. Agreed.
When you get quotes, if you could ask them to include photos or images or graphics of maybe a couple of different styles or a couple of different materials, and let us know the prices associated with those. I think that would help the board in its decision making.
Yes, ma'am. I can get that done.
So that's part one of signage, the signs related to the neighborhoods. And then Raymond, I believe what you were talking about was signs that advertise meetings once we're back to meeting in person that we had sent, you and Raul had worked up some initial graphics on, I believe, or had discussed. Is that correct? That you'll send those back out to the board?
Yes, I can send that back out to the board. You guys can review it. I designed it, but whatever you guys like, we can vote on something. I just think we definitely need better signage so that the residents know when these meetings are happening, so they can call in, I guess, until the COVID era is over. But yeah, I can shoot that out.
Okay, thanks, Ray. Any other questions or discussion from board members on this item?
This is Naomi. No. Over.
Naomi, did you say you had a question or a comment?
No further questions or comments.
Oh, okay, great. If citizens would like to speak on this matter, please state your name now and let us know.
Earl Gordon.
Hey, Earl, go ahead.
Yes, I brought up about the signs about a year ago, and seeing how that really upscale your neighborhood. And again, what Lee said, and that's what I saw in Westchester as well as back in Little Allegro. They did the kind of the entryway and the little sub pockets off of the streets. They didn't do everything at one time, but it made such a big impact all over the neighborhood the way they did that. So putting those in will really upscale the neighborhood. Second is looking at putting some signs out for the meeting. You know, everybody don't get the email. That way they can get the information to be able to dial in and listen to what the comments and things that are going on in the neighborhood. And another thing is the bed that we're putting the flower bed over in the Sheffield Village area. Where are we at with that?
With the flower bed, no one has approved for that to go forward.
That one's been on the books for we've been looking for over a year and a half on that.
Yes, sir.
I don't know where we left that item. We'd have to go back and look at it. I'm sure whatever bids we had were currently or outdated and would need to be readdressed.
Yeah, because that's the only monument left that it doesn't have a bed around it.
Okay, let's hold that to new business at the end. We'll bring up new business if you don't mind, and we can list that and then other items people would like to discuss. Any other comments or questions from citizens on the signage improvements or maintenance? Thank you, Earl, for your feedback on the Forum Estates on Westchester and the sign. All right, seeing none, our next item on the agenda is lighting improvements and/or maintenance. Patty, do you have any items to discuss with the board on this area?
I do not have any updates on the lighting, although arterials, when you're talking about the signs, we could also add lighting to those arterials for, I can get a quote for that as well, if you would like me to.
This is Raymond. Yes, please, with the lighting and the signs. Thank you, Patty.
Okay.
This is Naomi. Question about lighting. Could we get lighting on the cul-de-sac of Winslow at Winslow?
At Winslow and where? Oh.
The cul-de-sac of Winslow at Winslow.
Okay.
Are you interested in a street light, Naomi, that the city would put in a street light?
Yes, that's my question. New
Okay,
here.
I think that
please
question
inform me.
Yeah.
We do, Naomi, I don't know if you've noticed or not, we do have a light there, and they recently changed it to the new LEDs. I personally don't like it. It makes more shadow than anything. You can't determine what things are out there or anything. And the reason I know this is because somebody approached me the other night and I couldn't tell the police what they looked like. I couldn't tell their race. I couldn't tell what they were wearing or anything. All I could tell them is they had a mud flap, which was what do they call it? That mud flap, the mud flap you used to wear on the back of your hair, whatever that was called. Anyway, but that was the only thing I could.
Party in the back.
The mullet. The mullet. There you go. The mullet. And that was the only description I could give the police. But that's I personally don't like those lights. To me, I think we've lost lighting or the illumination, I guess is what I'm saying, is what we've lost there because of those lights. Maybe they just need to be a little bit brighter or something. But I'm with you. But I don't think I think they can only have so many per 100 feet or something like that that the city will pay for.
I appreciate your input. I'm having a similar circumstance where our cars were broken into and the cameras that were front facing on our property were not able to capture because of that lighting. We have since improved our lighting on the home side front as a property owner, but I share your concern and would like options to know how to make it better.
Have you seen Jeffrey's house? The guy the two-story house over there that's got all the prison lighting?
Oh, yes.
That's what I'd recommend.
Yes. Okay. Note taken.
This is Carla. Lee, is there somebody at the city that Naomi should reach out to or that could provide her information about streetlights and questions she has about where hers is located or how bright it is or something like that? What department would cover that? Public Works?
I believe so. Let me check.
Okay. We'll get you the right person to contact.
Actually, I have the phone number for streetlights. You can call 972-237-8527.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. All right. Anything else on lighting that anybody wanted to bring up from the board? Questions for Patty or discussion? All right. If citizens would like to speak on this matter, please state your name now and your question or comment regarding lighting. Hey, Earl, go ahead.
Yes, some of the problem I see down on my end, it's a matter of trees have grown up and they're floating around those lights and causing a lot of shadow. So I don't know where that stands on the homeowner, or can we get some assistance from other means getting those cleaned up? We got a lot of overgrowth limbs that are on those lights.
I think, Earl, if I remember correctly, they can only cut back where it actually affects the lighting. These unfortunately don't. It's just bad lighting.
I know on my end it's not so much as the light. It's the trees have grown on them, and it's causing a lot of shadow.
Yeah.
Earl,
same thing.
Do you get a sense? Is it in the property owner's home or is it in the city public right of way?
It's in the property of that pole is in the homeowner's property.
Okay. But that's actually on the easement of the property owner. I mean the city property. It's in the easement considered. I think from our curve, Earl, I think there's a 3-foot easement that they actually put there in case they ever want to put the sidewalks in. But that's where the poles are.
Yeah, that's where it is. It's up in the yard, about a couple of feet in.
Yeah.
And the growth of the tree is floating over and is obstructing the light.
This is Lee. Would you know if a city streetlight is within an easement granted to the city but on private property, where does the maintenance responsibility fall on that homeowner, or is there something that the city maintains?
It's my understanding that Encore maintains the street lights.
So this may be a situation where Encore needs to be called to trim obstructions to their utility.
Yep. If it's actually an obstruction, it's kind of like the wires. If the trees penetrate the wires or go any higher, Encore they can. I forgot what, it's not an eminent domain, but it's called something where they can actually go in and cut the trees down. But it has to physically be affecting the lights or the lines.
That may be worth trying. See if they'll come out and take care of it.
Yep.
Are there any other comments or questions on lighting? All right. Hearing none, we will go to holiday decorations. Item F. Lee, do you have any items on holiday decorations and kind of thinking about the timing of Christmas and what's coming up, and where do we go from here?
I don't
Excuse me, not Lee.
have...
I didn't mean Lee. Apologies. Patty.
That's okay. I wanted to know exactly what y'all are looking for. I know you weren't really happy with the last year's person that did the lights was trying to think of his name. He's the same one that did the walls. He did it in the last minute because Brightview had done it the previous year and you weren't happy with that. If y'all can let me know exactly what you're looking for, then I can try to get some bids for that. I know certain areas that you want decorated, like going down Claremont, where the pillars and the wrought iron, that's usually decorated, and then just on each monument as you're going down Great Southwest. Do you want reefs? Exactly what do you want on that? Also, I wanted to make sure that you're wanting us to try to put in some kind of anchors of some kind so we can lock these items down. We had a lot of theft last year regarding that.
All right.
Need reference from the board.
Board members, I will open it up in common. Ray, you go first.
Thank you. Yes, Patty, I think we definitely do need some kind of metal anchors, maybe some small concrete pillars that maybe are dug into the ground, maybe a few feet for bigger decor. I think it would be great if we had more illumination. I'm not sure if we have the appropriate electrical outlets in order to do that. I think eventually I would like to get to the point where American Airlines flies over Oak Hollow and confuses our neighborhood for an airport. Illumination is a key word there. And if we can get a bid on if we need more electrical outlets, and I really would love to see reindeer and just Santa Claus and lights, and if we could maybe focus on one decoration per year, maybe this year do Christmas and then next year do 4th of July and the following year, and stock up on some of those items so that we're not always renting. So that's food for thought.
Yeah, this is Raul. Sorry, I agree with Rim, and I think we had brought that up at the last in-person meeting where I was asking what it would cost to get maybe an outlet there in the center in Great Southwest somewhere, maybe at the entrance or at some of the like Claremont or Fairmont or one of those streets, how much it would cost to get an outlet so that they could actually put stuff that you could light up in the middle down the median.
I can get a quote from Bob Owens on that one. All the way down the median, or just where there's flowers?
Yeah, I think the cross, I guess, where the Claremont or Fairmont cross Great Southwest. I think that would be kind of cool just to put some lit up stuff there.
Okay. Patty, I would make, so we had some electrical upgrades previously that Bob Owens was doing. Can you remind us of what those were and where those went?
Give me just a second. I may have to go back to it.
While she's doing that, I've got a question. On the budget for the for Christmas and holidays, what I'd like to see is, say, for instance, like for 4th of July. And by the way, Earl and Linda, thank you for the flags that you guys had put out for the 4th of July. That was really nice of you guys to take the initiative on that and do that for the neighborhood. Thank you for that. But what I'd like to see also is us purchasing flags also. Maybe let's do like a $5,000 a year for each holiday. Say, for instance, we'll do $5,000 this year to buy $5,000 worth of flags this year. We'll do $5,000 more for Christmas, and then just do, and that'll be our little stockpile each year. $5,000 goes to each thing to build up our Christmas or holiday decor and things like that. It doesn't have to be doesn't have to be 5,000, but I think 5,000 would be a good start. You can get a lot accomplished with that.
Well, Joseph,
that's my thought. That way we're not purchasing all at the same time.
Right now we have $20,000 in the budget for decorations. So I think we have some flexibility about maybe how we split that up.
Okay. I mean, I like Raymond's idea. Let's get some, like reindeer out there. I mean, the Christmas balls or stuff like that, what they have over in Westchester, things like that. I'd like to see stuff like that, especially in the medium of coming into Great Southwest. The Great Southwest is Grand Prairie, the way I look at it, because everybody comes through Great Southwest to go to Lake Ridge, to go to Joe Pool Lake, all the stuff that goes straight out that way. And I think we need to stand up and stand proud on that, especially when they have the Prairie Lights. I mean, just imagine going to Prairie Lights and the light show actually starts at Barden or at the monuments on Great Southwest. I mean, how fantastic would that be?
Agreed.
Patty,
this is
all very great points. Agreed.
Patty, this is Carla. Is there a way to get pricing on large decorative items? So 6 foot tall Christmas packages or 6 foot tall ornaments or something that could be used. And I think it would be interesting to know to purchase and or to rent. Because if we get too many large items, which I love the idea of adding over time, maybe it's a big tree, maybe it's, who knows, there's going to be ongoing operations and maintenance for that as we keep adding to our wares. And maybe we're okay with that and we just budget for it. But maybe we can look at it two ways. If we rent something for the season or if we purchase something, what are those options for those large items?
Okay. You're just wanting to really do down the middle of Great Southwest? You think that would be the best way to go? And then just maybe a Christmas show on each monument? I mean,
that's a good idea too. I think I would love to see something started in the mediums first, and then I'd still like to see the lights all the way down on the fencing. But I'd love to see things in the middle of Great Southwest to start.
This is Lee. I was just going to add on decorations. Regarding medians, the city is pretty strict about putting things in medians. So anytime y'all want to do that, we need to get approval from the city first, just to make sure it's not obstructing traffic or anything like that.
Okay.
This is Raymond Lee. That's a great point, and I think we discussed previously about trying to put some kind of banners in those poles and the medians for the 4th of July and Christmas and so forth. If we could string up some lights or put some Christmas banners, maybe we should look into that also.
Okay, I'll see if I can get a markup of what could be done and get cost to see if we could purchase the items which that will be cheaper than trying to rent them because they're very expensive renting them.
Also, Patty, while you're doing all that, if you would not mind, reach out to the city and see what kind of guidelines that we need to look at. If we can't put something in the mediums, or if it's restricted by size, let's make sure we know what our sizes are, things like that.
Okay. This is Patty. Back to the location. He did outlets, installed two 20-amp circuits in the median at number 12. And when I pull up number 12, that is down Claremont, that median right before you get to, oh my goodness, what is the name of that street? At the very end, the very last median before you get Magna Carta. That has new electrical in it, and also location 13 and 14, 20-amp circuits were both added to the monuments.
Okay.
Patty,
Well, I think we need to concentrate.
Can you send us an updated illustration to the board of where there is currently power that could be plugged in for Christmas decorations, and then we can see where it's not currently at? I think the power between now and November has to be the top priority, because nothing
Absolutely.
We want to do if there's not the electrical in it to get at least at a minimum lights up. Because even with beautiful decorations, if they're not lit up, it won't be meaningful at night.
Correct.
Yes.
I'll get that. Yes, ma'am.
And this is Carla again. I would like to, I think the board needs to, it's August, near the end of August. I think the board needs to authorize Patty to get bids for additional electrical at the entranceways, up to some dollar amount, and move forward on that. Because if we wait on that, we're going to lose another Christmas.
I agree. I'm willing to vote on it right now if you want to entertain a motion, Madam President.
Do other board members concur or have other comments or thoughts or questions or discussion?
This is Raul. I concur.
Naomi,
this is Raymond. I think, what's the budget right now? $20,000. I think those are rookie numbers. We need to pump those numbers up, and I think that's good. So I'm good with that.
But Raymond, I think that just covers just the decorations. I don't believe that actually covers the adding of electrical outlets, things like that, or does it?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think $20,000 is a rookie number. In order for us to get the outlets and the decor, I think we need to bump up that budget.
Patty, do you know how much we spent on the previous electrical? How many locations went in, and roughly what that cost was?
The last cost I just told you about was $5,400. Prior to that was in April. Let me check and see if I can find more.
How many locations did we get for $5,400? Those four you mentioned?
Those four. Yes, ma'am. And they had to bore underneath the existing ground, so that was a little bit more expensive as well.
So it's hard to know how many more we need without the map of what's there today. But if we get 4 for $5,400, I mean, I'd feel comfortable putting $12,000 and looking at the map, and then we can prioritize the key locations in the center for lights and at the entrances if needed.
Madam President, I would recommend we go considerably higher than that. And the reason being because I do believe we had that done at one point, and they were in the bid was going to require boring under the cement, especially to get to certain areas in the monument of the entrances. So I would be okay with authorizing up to $20,000 as long as we're getting what we're asking for. Now, prior to approving that, I would also recommend that we have an idea of where everything's going to go. If it's going to be one outlet per location or two outlets per location.
Yeah.
I think, probably one is sufficient at this time, but hopefully we can have it to where they can expand off of it. And I think we need to let the electrician know, since eventually we'd like to expand off of this box to put possibly more lights going elsewhere. So that's why I would recommend about $20,000. I think $20,000 is more than sufficient to cover Great Southwest and each of the entrances of Oak Hollow and Sheffield Village at this point.
Okay, so this is Carla. This is a question for Lee. The city's fiscal year ends in September. So if we look at the budget that you provided on the current budget, we have $12,000 left in decorations. We have $35,000 that we did not spend on wall maintenance. Some of these dollars, can they be? And we have $70,000 on landscaping projects that we did not use. Can we use our fiscal year 20 money, some of that $70,000 on landscaping, and make the electrical part of that? I don't know if we need to do a budget mod. I just want to make sure we have enough money in fiscal year 20 that would it technically hit those books? I'm not sure we could get a contract in time of when you agree on the price versus spend the money and accrue it, or does it go into our fiscal year 21 budget for the electrical?
Well, yes. I mean, you have enough in the budget now, and any money that's left over is always carried forward to the beginning of the next year. So your current balance is actually $645,000.
Okay. Then I agree with Joseph. Then let's spend more on the electrical, get everything in that we want for Christmas, maybe up to $20,000. Do others agree?
This is Raul. I agree.
Naomi, agree.
This is Raymond. I agree, and I think that we have to remember also that just like the previous board, they did a wonderful job with the wall many years ago. We still have that wall, and it's beautiful and it's been painted. So we have to remember that these outlets are going to be here even after we're gone. And every year, if we can continue to improve and add something new, then that's the whole point. That's the whole purpose.
That's a great point, Ray.
Absolutely.
It's setting the foundation.
Yep.
Okay. So,
Madam President, I'd like to move.
I believe I have to open it up for comments before. One moment.
Okay.
Any other board members have any questions or comments at this time on the item before we ask for a motion? Okay. If citizens would like to speak on this matter, please state your name now.
Earl Horton.
Okay, Earl, go right ahead.
Something we worked on a year and a half back, trying to get the power on all the monuments bumped up, and we had such a hard time getting that approved and getting it in. There's something you need to do it's going to be something that's going to enhance everything instead of messing around with it, letting the price go up on you. You get it done once, and you don't have to look back at it.
All right, thank you, Earl.
I agree. I agree with that.
And the decorations, that's one thing. You got to get to a point where you get on things early enough. I think last year, nobody really wanted to do. We did the best we could. We had the person shooting in the dark to put them up, and didn't really have the layout like we had. And I'd like to see a little bit more planning put in and make sure the decorations are put in. What are we going to do for Labor Day coming up? Anybody take a look at that? We have flags and things that were in the inventory that were there. Nobody used them. And after I saw how one holiday went by, that's the reason why me and Linda got together and we wanted to get those up, because we had pumped it up on the holiday for especially 4th of July and Memorial Day and those things, that it looked really good coming through the neighborhood with the flags up. So I encourage you, use the items that we have. There's some in that storage there that need to be brought out and put up.
Whatever.
What do you want?
The linguine looking shrimp. please mute your phone.
Somebody hasn't muted their phone.
Bringing us all around. Please mute your phone.
Go bring us next one.
So what time's dinner, Carla?
That wasn't me. I'd invite you all over.
Oh,
okay.
That must have been not.
No, you're good. We're teasing you. All right. So thank you, Earl, for that comment. So what we will do is, moving forward, I will now accept a motion from the board that we would like Patty to prioritize getting bids for electrical installation with a budget of approximately $20,000. She will send the board a map of what currently has electric, and we can identify areas that do not, that we would like her to prioritize with the contractor. I think that's our first item for action. Do I have a motion?
One quick thing.
Sure.
Patty, this is Joseph Moreno again. Now, what's a good timeline for you to get this information back for us? Can we expect this back in 30 days? Can we expect this back in 15 days? Or are you going to need more time than that? Because my concern is we're going to have this money there, and we're not going to get bids for 45, 60, 90 days. I want to make sure that it's, once again, it is prioritized, that we want this immediately. And I'd like to see it within the next 30 days, effective today. If you could do that, is that feasible for you?
Yes, sir. I've already started sending out notifications to get those bids.
Okay, very good. Madam President, I'd like for the board to entertain a motion of electrical along Great Southwest Parkway with a budget of approximately $20,000.
Only amendment to that, Great Southwest Parkway and other entrances as the funding allows.
Good enough.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Second by Ray.
Raymond.
All in Raymond. I think, hold on, let me read my script. Apologies. The board members have any further discussion? All right, no further discussion. Let's vote. When I call your name, please announce if your vote is for or against the motion. Joe?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yay.
Naomi?
Set it and forget it. Agree.
Raul?
Yes.
Okay. And this is Carla. I agree. The motion passes unanimously by a vote of all 5 members. All right. Thanks, guys. Do we want to take a second action on Patty beginning to get bids for decorations and installations?
Yes. Absolutely.
Any discussion or guidance past what we've already given her? Any sort of budget that we want to discuss? I think we had said 20, 10, 15, 20. What number are we looking for? Maybe we just want to see what we get.
Yeah, let's see what we get. Here's what I would recommend. There's this great little place over in Arlington called the Christmas Store. They have all sorts of great ideas, all sorts of things that we could utilize. I would, and actually they sell wholesale to communities and to electrical vendors. So I would recommend if we could go by there, a couple of people go by there, just take a look, take some pictures and see what they have, get some ideas. And I also recommend that Patty get some ideas, maybe some from other communities, to see what's possible.
So I'm not sure it needs action, but previously on this call we had asked Patty just to put together ideas of what could be rented. I don't know if we need a formal action on that. Or Patty, do you have enough direction, or do you have more questions, or how can we best help you on that?
I think I'm okay. I just need to find out which areas have the electric and move forward with trying to, I think, starting at the front and making that like the focal point, and then as you can go down, it might be, if we can't do it in the middle, then we can do something on the sides and do as much as we can. Okay. For a price quote, see what it's going to run. Again, I still think that if you purchase the product, it'll be cheaper. The only concern that I do have is theft on those products. With not having any cameras, that's going to be an issue right now.
Okay.
Well, I thought we were going to try to utilize some type of anchors on the lights and things like that.
Yes.
Patty, could you ask them, this is Carla, could you ask whoever we get quotes from for installation, ask them to include a price for securing items? Maybe that could be part of what they provide.
Yes, ma'am, I shall.
Maybe that's two birds with one stone. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Raymond, or possibly a separate contractor, if it's an issue with the core company, that could come out and put down the cement anchors.
Or does our insurance cover that if it gets stolen?
I think our we have a high
deductible.
Yeah.
Well, let's get some heavy reindeers.
That'd be cool.
Would not bother me.
I mean, we are paying for quality here, guys. We don't want something that's going to get blown away.
Absolutely, I agree with you. That's why I recommended a couple of you guys visiting the Christmas store out there in Arlington. It's a blast, and you'll see some really cool stuff out there.
Joseph, you be our fearless leader. Send back your photos.
Images to Patty so that everyone has kind of consensus.
That's the bad part. I like all that stuff so much, I'll probably just buy it.
You'll be the Clark Griswold of the neighborhood.
There you go.
Okay, so Patty, this is Carla. Do you think you've got enough direction on the electric and starting to look at Christmas installations? We're good there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great.
And we are going to be able to accomplish this within the next 30 days, correct?
That's what I'm shooting for. If it does,
okay.
If it's getting closer to the 30 days, I'll give you a shout out to let you know where I'm standing.
Very good.
This is Carla. Lee, can we, after this meeting, look at dates the end of September to get back together? If today's August 18th, maybe we could shoot for the last week of September or first week of October for another meeting to move on the electrical and the Christmas for the holidays?
Yes, if you'd like to go ahead and pick a date, that would work.
Okay, I think we should. Let's do that at the end of the meeting. But yes, y'all help me remember for other items or new business. Any other discussion or conversation on holiday decorations? All right. So our final item under PID management and report is utilization of security cameras. Patty, do you have any items in this area to discuss?
My understanding is Earl is taking over that. That's part of the city, that he's working with the police department on that. Is that correct, Earl?
Well, Earl is not technically on the board with the PID, but I'm sure Earl will still work with us and help us get that information so that we can move forward with that also. I think that's becoming a crucial issue with some of the things that are going around in the Oak Hollow and Sheffield Village. I'd really like to see the cameras starting to be utilized, but there are certain things that we have to do, and I think Earl was kind of managing that. I'd also like to see the Crime Stoppers, which I believe Earl and Linda are have taken. I'd like for them to let us know as a board what there is out there we can do to help them. I think that's going to be crucial. I think it's just as important as some of the other things we do with the PID, and I think it's just as crucial to have that with in line with the crime watch.
So this is Carla. What I would ask Lee is that at our next meeting, maybe someone from the city could give us an update on the camera purchases. I see $50,000 has been added to the fiscal year 21 budget that we're going to discuss tonight. I think that may be a reflection of we were going to fund equipment to the city for them to put in part of their larger network. So maybe someone could give us a brief update on that, if possible.
This is Lee. I'll check with them and get y'all an update.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other? Or wait, just half a second. Any other discussion from the board members or questions of the board on this item, and then we'll open it up to the public. All right. With that being the case, citizens that would like to speak on this matter, please state your name now and provide your comments or questions.
This is Earl Horton. I'd just like to say you've gotten in where the city was going to do that with us from the police department, and my question was, where are we with that? Kind of left that in the hands of the PID, and I haven't gotten any updates of where you at, what's been done, when can we expect them in? We definitely need them like yesterday.
So I think we also are looking for updates. There was a gentleman from the police department that said he'd be following back up with us that I have not heard from. So it looks like Lee will be reaching out to them and seeing if they can get some updates or hopefully provide them at the next meeting.
All right.
This is Rick. I remember we had a previous meeting with the previous chief, and he stated then that they could do something where they could provide a certain number of cameras. I don't know if that's still an option since we have a different chief now. One thing that I would like to say, and maybe this is new business, so maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. I wouldn't mind maybe putting aside maybe $1,000, $2,000 a year for the crime watch, if that became some type of committee for lights, I don't know, reflectors, stuff like that.
Can we do that, Lee?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's hold that for discussions of budget, Ray, but I think that's a good idea.
Oh, yes. This is Lee. And actually, you do have a budget for security of $1,000 per year, and I think that was intended for things like that.
Okay,
absolutely, and I think we have volunteers, and I think we should utilize those volunteers, and I think we should prepare them, and I think that would further increase the security in our neighborhood and the value. So I think it's just something we should discuss, if not today, maybe later on the agenda.
I want to be clear on this, Lee. So we say, for instance, we've got that $1,000 budget there for the crime watch. We can give that to the people in the crime watch, correct?
And, this is Lee. It was my understanding you were talking about purchasing some items for them. So we really don't just give anyone money, but if someone submits a receipt, we can reimburse them. Okay.
So we could only purchase things for the crime watch then, correct? We couldn't just say, okay, here's a $1,000 budget a year from the PID as part of,
No.
We couldn't do that. Okay, I wanted to make sure we were clear on that one.
Yeah.
This is Earl Hart.
Go ahead, Earl.
I'd just like to say, whatever, it would help the crime watch, we would not definitely be saying, give us money. No, we would be to purchase the items that will enhance the community for safety and neighborhood watch.
Okay. Like Earl, like I was discussing with you earlier, what I'd really like to see from the Crime Watch is alert. I think an informed public is the most valuable thing that the police can have at any point. It makes people more diligent. It makes them more aware. I would love to see that come back if that's possible. When I'm talking about alerts, we used to have a call system where it was a crime alert, and they would put out the signs out there, crime alert, when there was an issue. And it stated what the issue was and what's been going on. We've had 12 burglaries of cars in this one particular week. Please be aware. Make sure your car doors are locked. I mean, it just gives a quick synopsis of what's going on in the neighborhood. Is there any way you guys can bring that back?
And that's what we're working on now. And actually, on our meetings that we have Officer West and the councilman with us on there, and they're getting ready to break it down for me by zones. So that's going to give you each pocket of the neighborhood what the crime is in that area. So it's going to be even more defined.
Okay, I understand that, but once again, a public that is notified, that is aware of their surroundings, I think can help more than anything, especially when there's issues. It's great to know where those pockets are, but I'd like to know, like, immediately we had a car broke into last night, or we had a house burglarized yesterday. I'd like to see a crime alert, either via email, or do it like you could sign up on the email, and you'll get an email saying, okay, crime alert. We can either do it that way or do it within, do the little signs and do a recorded message. However, but that I want to see that from Crime Watch, and that would help immensely.
One of our next steps is putting together, like, you'll be able to key into a site, and it's going to give you the breakdown. It's going to tell you what's going on.
But see, that once again, I've got to key into it. I want to send you my email, and I want you to send me an email when there's an issue. That way I can be diligent on my part in my neighborhood to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. But I think we're getting off track here. I'll definitely call you later.
Follow-up we'd appreciate that. If there are no other items regarding the security cameras, what we'll do is we'll move on to the next item, which is item number 3 on the agenda, which is the financial update and fiscal year 2021 budget, and I will turn it over to Lee Harris.
Hi, this is Lee. Okay, in your packet, I had put in a copy of our budget to actual report, and so as of August 15th, your beginning balance was $363,000, and the total revenue year to date was $370,000. Total expense is $88,000, and the current balance is $644,000. Then I also projected what it might be by the end of the year, and I'm projecting total expenses of $116,000, and that's not counting any of the projects we were discussing tonight. And then an ending balance of $618,000 to carry forward to the beginning of the next year. So on your budget, you see we show the $618 as the beginning balance. Then the estimated assessment is $376,616, and your mowing transfer is $10,261, and that's actually increased a bit. So your total income will be $386,877. That gives you an estimated amount available to spend of $1,004,877. We have programmed in so far $388,000 of expenses, and so that would give you an estimated ending balance of $616,000. So what we need to do now is just go over each one of those budget items and let me know if you'd like to make any changes to those amounts.
This is Carla. I would recommend that we increase the mowing contract. It's currently at $58,000, Lee, can you give us some insight on what other similarly sized PIDs may spend as far as a range on their landscaping companies?
Yeah, let me give you some examples of ones that are kind of similar in scope to Oak Hollow. Forum Estates spends, their budget is $101,000. That's what it was. I'm looking at the year 2019.
And how is that comparable?
Well, Forum Estates just mows its right-of-way. It does Great Southwest and Forum Drive, and there's a little bit more. And I think that's kind of similar to what you do. You have your segment of Great Southwest plus Claremont and a little extra, like Magna Carta. Yeah, it's similar in scope. I can't say the measurements are exactly the same, but they are spending more.
Are there any other areas where you see there are people kind of comparable to us that have much larger budgets and are kind of getting a little bit higher level of service?
Well, the other neighborhoods that are similar in size have more things to maintain. Like Lake Parks doesn't just have right-of-way, they have the pond area. So that's a big addition that you don't have. And High Hawk has a huge park area. So that, again, is something you don't have. So really, those 4 PIDs are all the ones that are similar in size. But Forum Estates is most like Oak Hollow.
Okay. Well, I would throw it out to the other board members. We have a surplus balance of over $600,000. I would recommend, since we're asking Patty to get us new contractors, kind of a little bit more flexibility in the budget to go up to 80 or even 100. I don't think 100 is unreasonable, but then, give them a year to show us what they can do with additional plantings in the entrances and kind of up the landscaping and the rotations and those kinds of things. I'd like to kind of see us head that direction.
This is Joe. I'm with you. I would not be opposed to upping it to $100,000 a year, but I'm not going to wait. I want them to start meeting our expectations. At $100,000 a year, they need to start meeting our expectations immediately. There's a area. There's a time of season where they're not going to be doing a whole lot, and that includes mowing. So that's kind of like money in their hand. So I want the expectation met immediately, not a year from now or 6 months from now. I want to see a difference immediately if we're going to be spending $100,000.
All right. Other board members, comments, questions on that topic or other topics related to the budget?
This is Raymond. I agree with Joe. I think the previous company was Landworks, and we increased the budget to go with Brightview with high expectations. Of course, we had High Hawk to compare it to, and it did our expectations. So I agree with Joe. I don't think we should get crazy and shoot for 100,000 when we don't know what we're for. Expectations exactly what we're getting if we do increase the budget, and I'm for increasing it, but we have to know what we're getting.
So one way to look at that could be we could go up to 100, but we could ask Patty to ask for bids with sort of high, medium, low budgets with detailed descriptions of what we would get for various price points. And maybe we don't use the full 100. Maybe somebody comes in with a really great bid for 65,000, but they detail out what all that would include compared to someone else.
That's acceptable.
Raul, Naomi, what are your thoughts? Oh, sorry. Did you want to respond back?
Yeah, this is Raymond. No, I was just going to say I'm open to that suggestion that, maybe we need to pay someone for mowing and maybe we need to pay someone else for the irrigation and the flowers and the color.
Okay.
A split arrangement is, this is Naomi, a split arrangement would be an ideal option. I agree with that.
Okay, so Patty,
yes,
within your, go ahead.
this is Joe again. I would go ahead and cap it at 100,000. But once again, expectations have to be met immediately. I don't want to, like day one of the agreement, I want to see plants or whatever it is that they're going to offer us. I want to see it being done the following day. That's how I want this to work this time. I want them to understand our expectations. And I do expect them to come and visit us from time to time and not say, well, we're going to be there and not show up like they've done to us in the past. We need to hold them accountable like our citizens hold us accountable. So I say let's cap it at 100,000. If we can spend under that, great. But if we need to spend that, let's at least make sure that it's there to meet our expectations once again.
Okay. Any other comments or thoughts or anything on that would, anything else on that item? Lee, what's the best way to do this? Do we just want to read through each description item and just say yay or nay on the amount or discuss it, or how would you like to proceed?
That sounds fine.
Okay. So I'm looking at the page with the fiscal year 21 through 26 budget or 25 budget. So if everybody has that in front of them, I can just walk through individual items and descriptions. And if you have any comments or suggestions, questions for Lee, let's get those out there. Office supplies is about $160. Does that seem okay?
Yay. Joe, yay.
Okay.
Raymond, yay.
If decoration, we have 20,000. Any discussion on that?
Joe says yay.
Okay.
At 20,000.
All right. Anybody just jump in if you want to change a number or you have questions about something. The next one is beautification at 20,000.
I've always been kind of, I don't understand what the beautification part is when it should actually be part of the landscape and stuff like that.
I agree. What does beautification entail?
This is Lee. Beautification is not your scheduled maintenance. It's different from the mowing contract. It's unplanned type things. It's things like, say, if a plant dies, you have to replace the plant. Or say if you decided you needed to renovate a flower bed. It's anything like that. It's not your regular scheduled planned maintenance. It's other types of
Everyone, please mute your phone if you're not speaking. We've got some background noise coming from someone. All right. Lee, anything else on that? Or Joe,
yeah, this is Joseph again. I move that we do the beautification at a lower cost down to 10,000. Once again, I really feel that should be part of the $100,000, but I'm willing to do the 10,000.
Well, this is Lee again. Like I said, if you needed to do something like renovate a flower bed, that's where that would go. That's not part of scheduled maintenance.
Understand, but I think 10,000 is more than adequate to do something like that.
All right.
This is Raymond. I think with me, when I hear beautification, I kind of agree with Joe. If we're going from from the 50 to the 100,000 with Brightview or someone else, why don't we just pay one company for mowing and another company to take care of the planting and the maintenance of the plants? Because it seems to me like we have a $20,000 for beautification, but I have to agree. It sounds like that's part of the contract with Brightview, and it seems like that's the part they're lacking in. So maybe we need to look into that further.
Lee, does anybody have two separate contracts like that? Someone that does mowing and someone else that just does their flower plantings, a different company?
This is Lee. No, really no one does that. They typically just choose a landscaper and use the same company for all of their scheduled maintenance plus the unplanned stuff. Occasionally, they have been known to do that. Like in High Hawk recently, they had one company do their regular maintenance, and they brought another company in to do a new landscape design and then install it. And that was a big project. It was over 100,000.
That was a one installation.
Mm-hmm. But when I said, flower bed renovations, I'm talking about, the flower bed on the northeast corner is looking a little old and worn out. The plants are all kind of deteriorating. So why don't we, take all that out and put in new plants? That would be a flower bed renovation. That would cost, usually those cost like somewhere between $2,500 and $5,000. It's how they, and they do that. They do that to kids pretty often, like Westchester. Westchester's always, choosing certain beds and renovating them. They don't do all of it in one year. Normally, kids are just picking out, 1, 2, 3 flower beds to do every year, just to kind of refresh everything and make it look better.
Lee, I've been living here for 30 years, and I've never seen it done over here. I think the $100,000 should be adequate and more than sufficient to cover anything. We'll still have, if we don't hit the $100,000, we'll still have that in the budget. But I still think we need to reduce to $10,000.
Yeah. This is Lee again. Okay, the difference between your mowing contractor line and the beautification line is mowing contractor is scheduled maintenance. That's where they say, okay, we're going to come out here 36 times per year and mow. We're going to come out 20 times a year and pull weeds. We're going to come out 16 times per year and spray the weeds in the cracks. It's a schedule of maintenance. That schedule of maintenance does not include like flower bed renovations.
Gentlemen, I would suggest
once again, $10,000 should be more than sufficient. And if we need to change that budget, we can always change that budget.
Gentlemen, now that we have a better idea of what we could do with that money, and we have a surplus of several $100,000, if we left it and ended up not using it, there wouldn't necessarily be any issues there. I'd never really thought about looking at some of our beds that maybe look a little tired and updating them a little bit, adding maybe some additional roses or some other things like that. Maybe that helps us think innovatively about some other areas.
Once again, my feeling is when we set the expectations with either Brightview or a new company, this has got to be part of it. The expectation part is if we're paying $100,000 for what we have, and they need to change out a bed, they need to change out a bed. It's not a matter I'm tired of being nickeled and dimed by these guys, and that's where they're killing us, is the nickels and dimes.
So with the bigger budget, you're interested in elements that would include not just maybe the entrances, but adding to certain installations and things like that.
At $100,000, they should have more in their budget to take care of everything that we ask for. And the way I look at it, if we go back with Brightview, they owe us. So I think at this point, I'm going to be hard on the $10,000. They can come back to us and we can find the money elsewhere, or they can use the $10,000. But we can't just keep on giving it to them because they're asking for it, or because they're going to redo a flower bed. Like I said, I've been here for 30 years and it ain't happened yet.
This is Patty.
This is Raymond. I have a question for Lee. Okay, go ahead, Patty.
I think where the miscommunication is, a beautification would be like a new, complete redo, the stone, the plants, everything. And if you have a contract with a contractor, a landscaper, that is not going to be part of the monthly maintenance that they provide.
Okay. Thank you. That's a better clarification than what we were getting. That's better clarification.
So that's the difference between the two. So it's like, for instance, Sheffield, the sign, that would be for the beautification. That would be a brand new maintenance area or a landscape area with the rocks and the decorations and all of that put together. That's what beautification is, what she's talking about as far as beautification goes.
Okay. Thank
you,
Patty.
Patty, this is Carla. I think you're on a roll, but we do have a line called landscaping for $70,000 that says that's for landscape installation.
Just to explain again, just to clarify, landscaping is projects that would be capitalized. So if it's a project that's over a certain dollar amount and qualifies to be capitalized, it would be in that line.
So the Sheffield installation might get through. Go ahead, Raymond.
Question for Lee. Lee, you mentioned was the Westchester? You said that they change their flower beds periodically. Is that correct?
Right. This is Lee. They don't change them out, all of them, every year. They just pick out a few that are looking a little bit, just not looking as good as they used to. So they'll just renovate those. And every year they're renovating just a few of them. They have a whole lot of flower beds out there. So they just take care of a few every year.
Right. So here's my question. And does Brightview, are they contracted with Brightview?
I'm sorry, your phone cut out.
Yes. Are they contracted with Brightview?
No, they use a company called Site Landscape Development.
Okay. And see, that's my question. And thank you for clarifying also, Patty. That's kind of our question, because we've complained about the flower beds before. And when we complain about them, all they do is they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll just put more smaller plants. So if the thing is, well, give us $50,000 more, and then we'll actually do something about the flower beds, then I think that's what we're trying to figure out. And if the line item is in beautification, and if we need to increase that, then I guess that's one of the solutions. But I agree with what Carla is saying. For the $70,000 in landscaping, if it's not even considering the beautification, then I think that's where we need to figure out which company can do both for that same budget, because I feel $70,000 is a lot for what we're asking. And if we bump it up another $30,000, are we going to get guaranteed those services?
So I think the landscaping, this is just me recapping what I think I've heard. So under mowing contractor, that's a Brightview or somebody like Brightview. That is they agree every month for 12 months to mow, to replace the corners, to do sort of this basic coming to cut the yard oversight. With that extra money, we would like additional flowers, better flowers at those standard locations. Beautification is, we don't like the roses anymore that are next to the entranceway signs. We want to take all those roses out, or we want to add 20 more roses, or we want to redo that entire bed and get rid of some hedges and bring out the edge and do a modification. That could be beautification. And landscaping would be something like the sign around Sheffield, or the entrance when they did it over here by my driveway. Those are larger landscaping projects, parklet, things of that nature. Did I get that kind of right, Lee?
Yes.
There's 3 distinct families there. Do you guys see that? Does that work for y'all? And you just want to maybe move some money out of beautification because we're hoping to get more out of that mowing contract, maintenance contract.
I say move money out of the beautification.
Okay.
Let's
move it to 10.
If we're going to go upwards of $70,000, $80,000, $100,000. Once again, my deal is expectation.
All right, let's move it to 10 and let's keep cruising. Graffiti cleanup is 500. Any comments or any issues there? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
We're good. Joe?
Just anybody that has any nays, speak up. For wall maintenance, we've got 35,000. That sound okay?
I think that needs to stay there because I still think there's some work we need to get done.
Yeah, that's important for any emergency issues for sure. If we talked with Patty about, I think we talked with Patty about kind of looking at the bottom area repairs and doing a handful of those each year. That'll be something we can come back in 21 for more of. Security, the $1,000 for the crime watch. We talked about that.
I'd like to see it go to $2,500 so we could help our crime watch.
All right, I'm fine with that. Any other suggestions or comments? Does everyone agree?
This is Raymond. I agree with that. I think that we should have a separate, or maybe the next month meeting, we should have a meeting as far as where the money's going to go to, whether it's patrol bikes or lights or uniforms and such so forth.
Discussion priority. Okay. I'm going to add that new business for the next meeting. Crime watch assistance. Okay, great. Next is mowing contractor. We said upwards of 100,000. We may not use all of that once we get our new bids in, but that would be our cap. We're good there.
Moving it to 100,000. Yes.
Okay. Tree services at 31. Any comments there? We didn't spend any of that last year.
Yeah, I know, but that really needs to be dealt with this fall. So I think we probably need to bump that up to about 50.
Okay. Fine with that. Anybody else?
Patty, can you please start working on getting a tree service put together to thin out all these trees going down Great Southwest Parkway? Not topping the trees. We need them thinned out.
Okay. All right, I'll get bids for that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Collection service. This has a double asterisk. I think it's probably a definition. Lee, can you remind us what this means?
Yes.
Anybody?
Scroll down to the bottom, you see number of properties in Dallas and Tarrant County. Then the rate charged for each county is a little bit different. Properties in Dallas County cost $275 to collect. Properties in Tarrant County cost $295 to collect.
I think whatever I printed out didn't have that. Maybe that got cut off on mine. Okay. So that's pretty much a flat fee sort of thing. Yeah, that looks pretty exact. Miscellaneous, this is just sort of small purchases that might need to be made, giving us a little budget for that of 2,000. Sounds okay to everyone?
Sure.
Yep. So
ad management, this is Patty's company or our administration company, is that correct?
Yes.
I would like to raise this amount so that Patty would be able to give us a monthly written report, sort of a summary of work coming and work completed that we could synthesize into the history logs. And then I'd also like to add an additional budget here so that Patty may be able to assist more administratively with, the recording of these. We don't have a secretary. We need to talk about that. But whether it's organizing the security sheds or the purchases of things, I don't know what all that looks like, but I think we could utilize more services of a management company, but we need to add more money for that accordingly and kind of scope that out.
Madam President, what I would recommend is she submit what she's able to do, and what not necessarily a new bid, but how cost effective is it for us to stay where we're at, or adding a couple of $100 or $300 or whatever the dollar amount is, and what we're going to be able to get more out of that. Like say for instance, once a project has been completed, I would definitely like to know when it's completed. I'd like to see pictures of it when it's completed. I'd also like to see a more hands-on with contractors that we deal with on a regular basis. I'd also like to see more visits out here to the location. I can't even tell you what visits she does make. Not saying that you don't, Patty. I'm just saying I don't know when you do them. I'd like to be informed. Perhaps one of us or several of the members can walk with you and say, hey, look, we were thinking about doing something here, or have you seen this? Want to make sure you see it, because I'm the firm believer, the more eyes you have on it, better you're going to be. But I'd like to see what you come back with, Patty.
More, but we just need more resources in that bucket for availability.
Yes.
Okay. So let me talk to the owners of my company and see what they have to offer, what we can do, and then I can get back with you on that.
Okay.
And one of the criteria is also you better have a big pool of contractors, because this coming up with just one or two contractors each time is not going to cut it.
Oh, this is Lee. I wanted to add to that the city actually requires a lot of liability insurance. We require $1 million each of general, automobile, and employer's liability, and not all contractors meet those requirements, so that does somewhat limit our choices.
No, it does not, Lee. It does not limit our contract base. That is a folklore. All we have to do is have somebody that's willing to go out and find them. Number one. Number two, as large as this company is now, they should have all of that. There should not have to be, I got to go over here to somewhere else to try to get somebody to come and do a job. No, not going to accept that.
We do have a large quantity of people that we didn't have at Cornerstone, and hopefully they will qualify for the city of Grand Prairie's qualifications to be able to do work out there.
Great, thank you. Okay, so let us know what that might look like. I would like to have the flexibility to go up to possibly $20,000 on that. Any board members disagree or have a problem with that?
I say let's see what we're being offered first.
So we have to vote on the budget tonight.
Okay,
I'm okay with that.
I vote nay.
Okay. Raul?
Okay, yes.
Naomi, agree. Okay. Sorry, Joe, we're going to move it up to 20.
Not a problem.
Okay. Postage, 200. Anybody, any issues with that? Banners, 20,000. That's for a future activity to put banners on poles down Great Southwest Parkway or other areas. We leave that.
Let's leave that, yeah.
Electric power at 700. Is this for our electrical upgrades, or this is paying for our current electric usage?
I say let's up that to probably about 15 to 2,000 with the added electrical that we're looking at. We're probably going to need every bit of that.
Okie doke. Is that a new one? Did we have electric? Hold on a second.
Yeah, we've had electric.
Maybe it was called something different. Okay. So you want to go to 1,500? Is that good?
I think 1,500 is a good number, especially with the added electrical.
Okay. Water utility at 15,000. That was the same as last year's budget. Everyone's okay with that?
Yep.
Irrigation system maintenance, 25,000.
Let's leave it.
Okay. Decorative lighting maintenance. What does this entail? I don't know what this covers.
Well,
This is Raymond. Would that cover the signage lights we're looking into?
Yes.
15,000?
I think it's the initial purchase, and then it goes down to 1,500 for every after. Okay.
Right. I mean, we could adjust it depending on the bids.
Yeah. Property insurance, premium liability. I'm sure those are what they are. Surveillance pole camera, 50,000 for installation, and then landscaping, special projects. We're at 70. Does that sound good?
Okay. Landscaping. That's 50,000. Then the irrigation system.
Irrigation system was 25,000.
Okay.
Oh, you're on the fiscal year 19 budget. Flip to that one that's got 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Gotcha.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm having to do this from my phone.
Oh, sorry. That's tricky. Any other changes or additions or other items that need to be added to the budget? All right. Any other discussion, questions of Lee or Patty related to the budget? Any other further discussion from board members? All right. If citizens would like to speak on this matter, please state your name now and provide us your comments or questions. All right. Hearing none, I will now accept a motion with this with regard to item 3, the adoption of our fiscal 21 budget. If you would like to make a motion, please say your name.
Madam President, I move that we move forward 2021 budget as written or as stated and to be written.
All right, motion by Joseph. Please say your name if you would like to second.
Raymond, Madam President, I second.
All right, motion made, second by Raymond. Do the board members have any further discussion? If so, please state your name. It appears there is no further discussion. Let's vote. When I call your name, please announce if your vote is for or against the motion. Joseph?
Yay.
Raymond?
Yay.
Raul?
Yes.
Naomi? Okay. All right, great. The motion passes by a vote.
Your vote,
my vote is yay, so it's unanimous vote of all 5. Thank you. All right, so excellent. The next item is real quick point of order, Patty. If we wanted to discuss new business, it's not technically on the agenda. Should we make a call to discuss it or do the citizen comment forum and then talk about new business?
Oh, well, actually, this is Lee. New business is not on the agenda. If it's not on the agenda, then the board cannot take any action.
Well, then cruise
on. But it
on.
can be discussed or no?
You can discuss items during citizens forum, but do not take any action.
Okay, got it.
We can take action next meeting.
Yes. So item number 4 on the agenda is up now, the citizens comment, citizens forum. Citizens may now speak during the citizens comments for up to 5 minutes on any item not on the agenda by stating their names at this time. Do we have any citizens wishing to speak? If so, please state your name.
I have a question. This is Julia Perez. I have a question.
Hey there, how are you?
Hi, I'm great.
Good. Yes, what's your question, Sue?
My question is Corey Walden still on the board?
Yes.
Is he just out today? Is that I noticed he wasn't there?
Yes. We do not know why he's not attending. I do not, at least, but he is not here today. But he is on the board as far as I'm aware.
Okay. And part two is how much longer, what is everyone's tenure on the board? How much, what is the time that everyone has left on the board?
I think Lee may have that information.
Yes, I'll look that up.
Stay tuned.
Okay. The terms of Naomi and Joseph expire this year, and the terms of Carla, Raymond, and a vacant position expire in 2021, and then the terms of Corey and Raul expire in 2022.
Okay. Is there a particular month? I mean, when does everybody come up again? How do we do?
Our annual meeting at the end of the year. We haven't scheduled the date yet.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was just curious.
All right. Thank you for your question, Ms. Julia. Are there any other citizen comments or items to discuss?
Yes, this is Julio Iglesias. I just like to say that Joseph Moreno, he's just a good guy, man.
I'm not sure the rest will take that or show that.
I'm sorry, I'm getting tired here. Can we end it now?
I know. We're working on it. Any other citizen comments? Any other discussion from board members? We had talked about we want to bring back, guys, help me recap everything that we've asked Patty to look at. It's a really long list. So we're going to look at okay, let me highlight this. We're going to look at the tree that we want removed quickly, and we're interested in bids that might be less than $1,500 to move forward on those, or excuse me, $1,200. We're also interested in additional landscaping companies, other than Brightview potentially, to move forward with. The next thing we've asked for is we talked about notifications of color and more to the selections. We've asked for the electrical. That's correct. We've asked for the signage, so the wrought iron, decorative iron signs, and then signs for notifications of meetings. We've asked for the holiday decorations and kind of what can be done. And then on those sign, the street signs, we're interested in the lighting options for those as well. Anything else? I think that's all of the main items. And then I wanted to add the monument at Sheffield Village that had been brought up in the past. I think we'd like to move forward with getting new updated quotes for that and bringing that back to the board sometime before the end of the year.
And then also the management, checking on the management.
Additional items or services
options
that make the reporting for the monthly updates. Yes.
Correct.
Great. Okay. Any other items from board members?
This is Raymond. So next meeting we'll be discussing, I guess, the structure for the crime watch as far as what necessities and what's going to be pertain to that situation.
Yes, we will put the new, the crime watch assistance. Oh, and we also asked about tree services for thinning in future, next year to also be added to the agenda for discussion. And then we also want to pick a date before we get off the phone, if possible, if people have their calendars available. And then Lee's going to see if at that meeting, we might be able to have somebody from the city update us on where we're at with the security cameras.
So when are we going to have our annual meeting? Are we looking at November to do that again?
Okay, this is Lee. We did have a meeting set for October 27th, but right now we haven't rescheduled it yet. We're not yet at the point where we can meet in person, and I'm not sure if we can handle can we have an annual meeting by phone? I'm not sure. I don't know, what the would be.
There's a lot of discussion with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's wait on that decision. Let's look at the last week of September or the first week of October, at people's calendars for the next meeting. Does it have to be a Tuesday? Would a Thursday work for you guys?
Thursday's good for me.
Tuesdays work best for me.
Say that again?
Tuesdays work best for me.
Okay. Raul or Naomi? Any nights that
book it now.
For you?
That works for me, yeah. If we book it now, it'll be great.
Okay. Raul, any preferences? We may have lost him. Okay, and Raymond, you said that Tuesdays are better for you, right? That's your best night of the week?
Yes, I have an older daughter that I have to pick up from school, and she lives in another town, so Tuesdays is the best for me.
Okay, I will pass on my bowling league that Tuesday night for you. The sacrifice I'm willing to make for the
Outstanding, right. Thank you, Madam President.
September 29th or October 6th. What do you guys think? Why don't we do
29th.
October 6th? Oh, 29th, okay. Does the 29th work for folks? Lee, does that work for you?
It does. Why don't let me take down both of those dates and make sure that the teleconference is available. So okay. I'll say September 29th is your first choice and October 6th is your second choice.
Yes, ma'am. And then Patty, in that additional funding and additional services, I think in addition to the report, you being available for all of these meetings, I would like to include that as well, potentially. I think you're a great asset to the team for these discussions.
Yes, ma'am. I will make that noted. How many are you doing every month, or how often are you meeting at this time?
I think we've been trying to do every month, but it's a little wacky right now, right? So maybe
I think eventually we could get to quarter, at least 4 times a year. We were doing monthly meetings to try to keep on top of things and try to get things caught up with. And I think we could probably still go back to quarterly meetings.
Hopefully we can get to quarterly. Maybe even just put a plan together for every other month. And if we don't use all of them, then that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I will add that to the list.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. So I think we're going to look at September 20th or October 6th. Lee will let us know if there's a preference from city equipment perspective. And then I'll try to follow up with Corey. And then I'll also try to summarize everything that we talked about tonight and send that out to see if anybody had additional notes or things to add to that. It was a lot of items, a lot of next steps, so I don't want to lose track of them. Okay, any other items or any other discussion? All right, having reached the end of our agenda, I now adjourn our meeting it is 8:44. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Thank you to the residents who were here.
I wanted to remind Joseph and Carla to take your Open Meetings Act training.
Yep, guilty. I've got halfway through it. I still need to finish it. I'll do it, Lee. I promise.
1,000
Bye.
Thanks. Have a good
Good night.
Good night.